My usual windscreen wiper motions, I'm applying a transition color in Ashley's crease. This color is about one shade darker and warmer. It's really important with a matte brown smoky eye to keep it warm in the crease, as if it's too cool it's going to get really ashy. Once it's nice and blended, I'm using the same color to just pat in the outer corner of the eye just to prepare myself for the deeper shadow that I'm about to apply. Now that transition color is nice and blended, I'm taking credit from the Jackie Aina palette to pat onto Ashley's outer corner. I'm not taking it as high as the transition color because I still want that transition color to peek through. As you can see, I'm slightly teasing that brown so it's nice and diffused. With a brown smoky eye, you don't want any harsh lines, so I'm patting with the M433 brush from Morphe, and I'm really making sure it's nice and blended. I'm not really sticking that brown on because I don't want it to be overly opaque. With this step, I need you to take your time. As you can see, I'm making sure her eyes are open and closed, and I'm using the same brush to slightly blend it upwards. And this will make sure that the transition color and the brown marry together. So as you can see from the side profile, it's nice and blended. So I'm now going straight in again, and I'm really teasing that color. I'm going to use the word teasing because with a smoky eye, it's not really about having that strong block of black to brown. It's having that smoke slightly up to the brow bone. Just ensuring that everything is symmetrical on both sides. And now I'm using Swiss Chocolate from MAC Cosmetics to marry my dark credit with the transition color, and this will create that warmth, that in-between color between dark and light, to make sure that the brown doesn't look too harsh. Please notice that the pressure that I'm using with this brush is very, very light-handed. Now I'm applying the NYX glitter glue on Ashley's crease. I'm not really trying to create a cut crease here. I just want to create a blank canvas for my matte shadow to sit on, just to make sure it's nice and smooth without any patches. I'm using the MAC 217S to apply a beige shadow on top. As you can see, I didn't really want that cut crease effect. I just want it to look nice and soft and opaque. I feel like cut creases are kind of going out of fashion at the moment. And as you can see, where I applied Cultured from the Jackie Aina palette is still peeking through under the crease, creating that diagonal effect. Rather than creating it with a smoky line, I'm making the job easier for myself. Just making sure the eyeshadow is nice and equal on both sides. Just triple check your work, guys. So beautiful. Look at Ashley, she is so gorgeous. I can't deal. I'm using credit to line her upper lash line to make way for my smoky wing. I'm using a wing liner brush 266 from MAC to use that eyeshadow to blend upwards into her outer corner of her eyes. I'm not doing a straight wing. I kind of want her eyes to look nice and feline, which is exactly the effect I'm trying to do. Even though Ashley's got an almond eye shape, I kind of want to accentuate that. Just to make sure the eyelashes have something to sit on, we're just going over Ashley's eyelashes very gently, and I'm using the Body Shop Oils of Life eye cream just for her under eyes. Using the My by Mahina lashes in Autumn just to finish off our eyes, and now I'm using the black shadows just to line the upper lash line to disguise the lash band and finish off the smoke. There is no smoky eye without black. Taking it in the same direction of Ashley's eye shape just to finish it off, and I'm plucking that black upwards. Guys, smoky eye is all about upwards. Sorry Nikki, okay, it's enough. You're looking cute or whatever. Okay, Ashley is carrying this video, okay? Look how gorgeous she is. I can't deal. So I'm using the Pure Orange color corrector for under Ashley's eyes and around her mouth areas. I do have a separate IGTV video about this on this step, so please take a look. So just the usual areas before I apply her foundation, just to make sure I have a smooth working base. I don't want any trouble, okay? Using my Instapot brush as per usual to stipple in foundation. The shade I'm using for Ashley is NARS Macao, and as you can see, it is the perfect finish and perfect fit. I've used the Nip and Fab Deep Gold Elixir to mix in with her foundation so we can maintain that dew. Kind of looking after Ashley's edges. When it comes to edges, make sure you work towards the actual hairline. Do not put foundation on the hairline, else it's going to go grey. Stipple in that foundation till it's nice and bouncy. I'm using the Too Faced concealer in Mocha, a shade lighter than Ashley's skin tone, just to create my highlight process. As you guys know, I tend to use two highlighting concealers, one a skin tone shade and one a super highlight shade, and obviously it does work for me. This concealer is the bomb.com. It is full coverage, life proof, arson proof. It is real. With me, concealer placement is so key. I will do a dedicated video as to why I put concealer in these areas. As per usual, using my color correcting brush from Real Technique to push in Ashley's concealer. I have actually let this concealer to rest for about 90 seconds. The longer you leave that concealer to rest, the more full coverage it becomes. I actually like to blend out the forehead first so the under eye has more time to rest. Usually I work in sections, but with under eye I like to work both eyes at the same time because we do not want it to look patchy, okay? Even though this concealer will not look patchy, it is the GOAT concealer. It's actually better than Tarte Shape Tape. Yes, tell your fave I said that. When it comes to the nose area, I always like to use a eyeshadow brush to make sure I get into the nooks and crannies. I've used the Fenty 310 concealer in the middle of her face and the Bobbi Brown No. 9 Chestnut foundation stick into her hairline. Y'all know how I feel about this foundation stick. Bobbi, you did that. I'm telling you the things you did. I'm just going over that concealer again with the same motion in the same direction, keeping it a little bit more contained. You don't want to take your highlight concealer too far out, as that will stretch your face. And Ashley's face is nice and symmetrical, so it doesn't need to be stretched at all. Using my Instapot brush to blend out the Bobbi Brown foundation stick is so important. Your foundation will help that contour stick marry within her skin tone because it already has that identity that we need when it comes to contouring. If you use a foreign object, it's going to look stark and really patchy, as if you've got a border around the client's face. So I'm just going over the area repetitively to make sure everything is super blended. Just deepening up her contour just a little bit because I feel like it wasn't showing enough. Just going in with the same foundation brush in the same motion, up and around we go, ensuring that everything is blended towards the hairline. Look how bronzed her side profile is. We love it. We love to see it. Just going and using the foundation brush all over the face now, just to make sure everything is blended. Okay, blending actually doesn't stop. I'm still going to blend some more. Taking my Chanel loose powder in transparent 30 and the MAC Studio Fix powder in C40 to set her under eyes. I work with the loose powder first, then the Studio Fix powder, then the loose powder on top. Loose powder prevents creasing and Studio Fix powder prevents the colour of the concealer from oxidizing. It's worth noting that I'm using a flat synthetic brush to pat the powder in. This ensures that the concealer does not lift and maintains its colour. One thing I've noticed that rather than brushing away the under eye, it's better to just apply that powder and push it into the skin to make sure it lasts the whole day. Make sure you set the under eye with your strength, as that is the area that gets oily very quickly. Even though Ashley's skin is fairly normal, we don't want to worry about any oils peeking through. We want that natural glow without looking like an oil slick. Now I'm using the Dark Mineralized Skin Finish by MAC just to go over the foundation areas and the concealer areas, just to make sure they're all blended in. A lot of people have asked what to use a face powder for. This is the exact way to use it. Using the Dark Deep Mineralized Skin Finish by MAC just to bronze Ashley's face. I'm using the face powder because it's not so pigmented and I feel like it works perfectly with Ashley's skin tone. I'm using credit from the Jackie Aina x ABH palette just in her lower lash line, just for it to reflect on top. Whatever shadows you use at the top, please try and use it at the bottom, as when it comes to a smoky eye, it's all about balance. I've got my brush in my mouth. I'm so sorry guys, I won't do that again. Just getting Ashley to apply mascara to her bottom lashes, just to make sure we still have that element of black in the lower region of her eyes. It's important when it comes to a smoky eye to always have that black. I'm using the MAC blusher in Pink Me and applying it on her apples of her cheek and taking it towards her cheekbone and applying it across her nose. I'm using the Whisper of Guilt highlighter by MAC and the J.Lo Pigment Times Inglot just to create that glow. Work on the sides of her face, and I'm using the Morphe M500 brush to apply this highlighter so it's nicely distributed. As you can see, I'm really generous with my highlighter. Don't worry, I don't do this on everyone, and I always ask, how much do you want? Using the Fix Plus just to merge in all those powders together. I'm really going in with Fix Plus. You can never have too much setting spray, obviously don't drown in it, but I think this is what makes the foundation look really dewy and more skin-like, since we have used a little bit of powder. And I'm using a Christmas card to fan in the product. Using Yogurt by MAC in her tear duct just to brighten up her inner eye, just to add to the matte glam effect. I feel like this is so in. Just topping up that highlighter with JLo, and look at that glow. Oh my god, beauty, beauty. Now for her lips, I've used a Chestnut lip liner by MAC, and I'm using Blind Date by Shop Ken Beauty to fill in Ashley's lips. Ashley likes her lips slightly overdrawn and in a rounded shape, and I feel like this shape really does work for her. The trick to an ombre nude lip is to get the client to really rub their lips as you go along. And now I'm using the lip gloss by Shop Ken Beauty in Runny just to shine up Ashley's lips, making them look nice and luscious, ready for any occasion. I hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial as much as I have had recording it. I cannot wait to see you guys in the next one, and don't forget to comment below. Bye!